Hey, Indians. Jeremy Fuel here, Superintendent at Mississinewa. This is our next episode of Mississinewa Matters. I believe this is episode 11 for us. Today is February 25th. Happy Tuesday to everybody. So we're going to go through a few questions here on the referendum frequently asked question document. And then I got a couple of numbers I wanted to share with everybody as well, kind of relates to these three questions that we're going to go over today. So what happens if the referenda do not pass? And so that's capital or operating there. So capital referendum failure. Capital is the facility piece of the referendum. So we will be forced to make temporary, inefficient repairs to aging facilities. So, for example, RJ Basket roof, HVAC, and stuff. Those things are going to be coming up in the next few years. If we don't pass a capital, we're going to have to create a long-term plan on how to consolidate enrollment throughout the district to be able to get students within the next 10 years out of RJ Basket. But we have to be able to buy time to be able to get people shifted over. So we would have to spend some money on a facility that we really probably shouldn't be spending money on ultimately. So that's one note there for the capital. For the operating referendum, we will have to make additional cuts. If we don't pass an operating referendum, we will have to make additional cuts beyond what we have already cut, and that's going to impact programs, staffing, and security measures across the district. Why should the community support the referenda? Honestly, and I know and understand that impacting and raising taxes is not what anybody wants to do. It's not something that we want to talk about or bring up, but we are having to do that. So the reason for the support is truly to look at not only improving our educational opportunities for students, but also just maintaining our what we're currently doing. We're doing a really good job with what we have available. Do we want to add to that? Absolutely. But bare minimum, we want to be able to maintain that. By moving sixth, seventh, and eighth, it's going to provide financial sustainability for the district. We're going to be able to consolidate resources and staffing over time, which is going to make the district be able to operate better within its means. Ultimately, the building project does provide school safety and security measures. It's going to enhance those and provide a better environment for our students and staff. And then there is a long-term cost savings through strategic consolidation by moving grades 6th, 7th, and 8th over to the high school. Next question, and this is probably one of the more prevalent ones we get, will out-of-district students have to pay for a portion of the referendum tax amount? Again, I've answered this prior to, I believe, but the answer is no. Out-of-district students do not contribute to local property taxes. The referendum tax amount is only applicable to within our school corporation's district boundaries. But again, if you look at what those out-of-district students bring in terms of $9,200 per student, and if you factor that in over a year or several years, which I did yesterday, I believe, on the video, we showed, hey, we have 748 out-of-district students, $9,200 per kid, $6.8 million per year over the course of 20 years, which is how long a referendum would last. That's almost $138 million of money that would not be poured into the school system and in turn not poured into Gas City in Jonesboro. Ultimately, if we had to cut almost $7 million off of our annual budget, that's approximately 100 staff members that we would have to cut. Out of those 100 staff members, I would say at least 50% of those are going to be people that live in the community, at least, because we're not just talking teachers at that point in time. We're talking custodians, cafeteria workers, bus drivers. It goes across the board, administrators and such. So that's definitely something to note with that. Another thing this isn't a question on there, but we had obviously the 87 million referendum amount. We have out there right now showing a 62 million, which that project, the 62 million, is moving 6th, 7th, 8th over the high school, doing some remodeling at high school to be able to have a middle school cafeteria, having a middle school gym, and an auditorium. That was 62 million. The lowest amount The lowest amount that we have advertised at this point in time is a $50 million referendum. 50 million would move grades 6th, 7th, and 8th to the high school. It would renovate part of the high school to have a middle school cafeteria there, and it would add a middle school gym. It would not have an auditorium in that amount. So if I took that lowest amount, $2025, 50 million gets us this scope right here. In 2026, 53 million would get us that scope. And the reason is construction costs rise between 4 and 6% on an annual basis for schools. So being conservative, we're taking that 6% number to err on the side of caution. Then if you factor in, okay, hey, what if we had to go to a 2028 referendum? You see that amount there. Again, increasing those costs, that goes to 59 million for the same exact scope. So over the course of 3 years, we have gone up $9 million. What if we waited till a 2030 timeframe? This exact same scope right here would have gone up about $16.5 million. So the project is never going to get cheaper. And ultimately, at some point, whether we have 750 out of district students or we have 0 out of district students, at some point in time, facilities are going to need an upgrade. We're going to have to do something to those facilities. And truly, like it or not, that's going to be paid by local property tax owners. Or we're going to have to consolidate significantly, which is, in my opinion, going to impact the local economy greatly over the next 10 to 20 years. You won't see the impact from 0 to 10 years. So from 2025, 2035, you may not see a big impact, but from 2035 to 2045, 2050, you're going to see the largest impact there. So those are a couple things I wanted to note today with you guys, and we are working on additional people to do some videos from the staff, just to talk about what's going on in our buildings, how this project potentially could help some things, and just highlight some things from their perspective. So I wanted to get that to you guys over the next couple of weeks. Remember, we do have our upcoming meetings. We had one this morning at Hans Hall from 7:30 to 9. Unfortunately, we weren't able to get any business owners to attend that meeting, but we're going to keep having these meetings, and we encourage people to attend, ask questions, and give input. So those are posted on our website. We post them on social media. There are mailers that are going out in regards to those dates and times, and they're posted on several digital signs through the school and the community about. So if you're not comfortable coming to those meetings and you'd like to see me one-on-one, please feel free to reach out to me, and I'd gladly meet with you one-on-one to hear your concerns or take your input. So, hey, hope everybody has a great day, and go Indians.